Hi, my name is Vandeman. I am a second-year student at Western. I am also the campus life editor at the front, and I am also a drag queen. And it's really fun because there's a lot of really interesting personalities at the front, and especially within my reporters, it's just my beat team is just a really tight-knit group where we'll get through our meeting, and then afterwards we'll just talk about random stuff for 20 minutes straight and just have a fun time just getting to know each other and just talking about random stuff. So being an editor, it can also be really chaotic sometimes. Especially with keeping up with a bunch of different Slack messages and keeping up with creating a bunch of custom emojis for the Slack so I can be chaotic. I don't know. It's overall, I really love being at the front, even though it can be chaotic at times. But I can take it. I can take it. I feel like sometimes I'm a chaotic good creature. So I'll just preface this. I don't believe in astrology. I don't think it's real. I don't think it's a real thing. But for some odd reason, so I'm a Gemini. I was born on May 22nd, so that makes me a Gemini. And for some odd reason, whenever I read descriptions of what a Gemini is, it's that's exactly me. I see myself, I am a pure Gemini. I am chaotic, I'm adaptive, I'm almost, if you can describe it and say two-faced, I'm two-faced in a way, I don't know. People hate Geminis for no reason. I understand somewhat, but it's, but in terms of how it relates to me being an editor, I feel my responses are either it takes me 3 hours to respond, or it takes me 2 seconds. I get a direct message on Slack. I'll either take a while or I'll be in the moment, just boom, get a response. Also, in my beat team meetings, sometimes they can be a little disorganized and a little chaotic. Yeah. Also, sometimes I like to stir the pot a little bit. I don't. Whether I mean it or not, sometimes I'll send really passive-aggressive messages without me knowing, and it's sometimes in my mind it'll just be me just speaking my truth and be hey, this is how I feel, or oh, maybe you can do this instead. Being a student and a drag queen, it's like a double life. I literally feel like Hannah Montana in a way. My student life and my drag life are very they're very separate.
Welcome back to the stage. My morning would give me something about her, Sage Valentine.
It started my freshman year of high school. My freshman year of high school, that was when I first really publicly came out as queer. At that time, I was out as a gay man, and my freshman year of high school, a lot of highs and lows. I think, and that's also true for a lot of people. But for me, my freshman year, that was when my parents told me that they were getting a divorce. I was moving. And I also, that was at the same time, I was still figuring myself out and still coming out as queer. And so I was typically in my freshman year of high school, I was in a really dark place with myself mentally, and I was going through a lot of changes. And so that's when I discovered RuPaul's Drag Race. Which is literally the biggest queer television show, and I was really attracted to the show, and I was oh my god, this is really cool. There's a giant community of people who do drag, and in conjunction with that, my freshman year of high school, I was also really questioning my gender identity. And I was kind of secretive about that in a way, but I saw drag as an outlet for me to tap into the more feminine parts of myself, because I've always been really interested in like, what's my excuse to get into that? And for me, drag was my excuse to be hyper feminine, to tap into really hyper feminine parts of myself, and to like express myself in new ways. So I went to my first drag show in Spokane, and I started talking to some of the queens, and they were saying like, hey, we do amateur nights, so literally anyone, no matter how much experience or lack of experience you have, you can join and you can just sign up and do whatever you want. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. So when I discovered I had the outlet to perform, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start doing drag. And I started. It was really rough, I'll admit. If you look back at the bottom of my drag Instagram, it was rough. It was real rough. Like, I literally knew nothing about makeup. I didn't even know what setting powder was. So like, my face back when I first started was very wet because I never set my foundation. So my foundation moved around a lot. I looked very wet and greasy because I didn't set it. It was not cute.
Anyways, okay, we got 4 whiteboards. Okay. So, for this game, we need 2 audiences.
You go up, take those ones.
Yes, audiences. 2. Raise your hand up high. Okay. Ooh. Okay, you come up to stage. Yes, come up to stage. And, this is tough. This is a toughie. I'm gonna with you.
I really found a strong community in the Spokane drag community, and I have to say I'm really proud to be from Spokane and be a part of the Spokane drag community, because there's a lot of awesome people. Who is Sage Valentine? For me, Sage is she's a goddess, like through and through. For me, drag is like, it's tapping into a higher power version of myself that's deep inside of me, that like I wish I could, the way that drag makes me feel, like I wish I could like channel that throughout my everyday life. For me, drag is like tapping into that higher version of myself, that confidence, that drive, that just like how great I feel about myself in drag. Like, it's tapping into that and then carrying that feelings over into the real world. Sage is definitely, in her mind, she is a pop diva. She is up where Gaga and Madonna and Katy Perry are. Like, in her mind, she is like right there with them. Sage is definitely, she's inspired by pop divas. Sometimes in a way, Sage is like a love letter to pop music, because for me, pop music has always been a pretty big, it's always been a pretty big part of my life. When I'm in drag, I know I'm pretty. Like, I know I'm hot. Like, and that's like important for me to know that, like, yes, I know that like I'm really awesome in drag, and it's like important to remind yourself that like, hey, you're hot, you're beautiful, you're amazing. Like, you gotta have that self-confidence to get through life. Sage Valentine is, the name itself is a derivative of my real name, Saul Vandeman. It's it's a glamorous version of my name. Sage as a persona has kind of developed over the past couple years. Sage has always been a strong, powerful, feminine energy. If you want to do drag, if you want to explore that, if you want to try it out, if you want to actually do it, just do it. Try. Just try. I started knowing absolutely nothing on how to do my makeup, how to dress, how to get outfits, how to style wigs, how to even wear wigs. I knew nothing. And I had a good, strong sense of community that helped me. So just go for it. Just go for it. just do it. What's stopping you? Drag is a really powerful and a really fun art form. So I say to anyone, do it. Find your community. Find people who, find really good people who can help guide you. And it's because especially drag is not only an art form, it's also a form of community for a lot of people. You learn a lot from your failures. So if you fail, get back up, try again, learn from your failures, and go forth and be amazing and slay.